Newscene is next on UTV, University Television, Florida Atlantic University's student system. This is Newscene, a bi-weekly student news presentation of Florida Atlantic University's student television system. And now, Newscene anchorman, Alan Millett.
Following an armed robbery. WPEC's Jim Chadress was there during the hunt and filed this report.
It started here at the Trailways bus station last night as a typical armed robbery. $350 was taken at gunpoint. Nobody was injured. But thanks to some quick police work, the suspect didn't make a clean getaway. And when he was cornered by police, it quickly became more than just your average armed robbery. Detective Sergeant James Diggs of the West Palm Beach Force caught up with the bandit, Jimmy Duncan, here at the corner of Florida and Iris, just a short distance from the bus station. Duncan decided to shoot it out. The 26-year-old Pueblo, Colorado man hit the officer in the leg and got away. Sergeant Diggs is now hospitalized in satisfactory condition. Blanche Ficara lives right next to the parking lot where that shootout occurred.
Well, I heard some noise outside, and I came and opened the jalousie door a little bit to find out what was outside. And then I heard a shot, and I heard the window, the glass broken, and I knew they were shooting my way, so I just ducked and ran inside the house.
It was an all-night wait. But in the end, the 50 or so police officers who sealed off this entire area won. Around 7 o'clock this morning, officers saw Duncan walking here in the 500 block of Hibiscus Street. When they tried to stop him, he fled and shot at them. They returned the fire and wounded him. He continued to run, but they caught him and arrested him just a few blocks from here. It was a terrifying night for many of the people who live in this neighborhood, which was turned into an armed camp. William McIntosh says it reminded him of his days in Germany during World War II. Let's talk about your wife's experience. She walked outside, and what did the police say to her?
Told her to go back in the house. He was a dangerous man out here with a gun.
Were you frightened?
I weren't. The only thing that frightened me was being hemmed in. I only had one door out.
Duncan is now hospitalized in critical condition. He will be charged with 5 counts of assault with intent to kill a police officer, in addition to the armed robbery charges. Jim Childress, Eyewitness 12.
Burglars broke into a room at the Boca Raton Hotel and Club last Friday, seizing a box of jewelry worth about $1,200. Boca police reported the burglary occurred between 9 to 4:30 p.m. and was called to the department by Mrs. Georgie Young of Princeton, New Jersey. Florida Atlantic University's president, Glenwood L. Creech, has announced that the academic audit of every course offered in an attempt to cut expenses. The move is aimed at limiting the number of courses as budget cutbacks are expected to continue in upcoming Finance Committee meetings. When driving around Boca, be advised that a section of Northwest 12th Avenue between Palmetto Park Road and Old Palmetto Park Road has been closed indefinitely as of this morning. Boca police say the Palmetto Park Bridge over the Intercoastal will be closed for 7 to 8 days to repair a broken underground cable. Alternative routes are A1A, Camino Real, and Spanish River Boulevard. In the sports news, Jim Connors will be back at Boca West Tuesday to defend his title in the $60,000 Schick International Tennis Tournament. The tourney is being prompted by Tennis Championships Incorporated of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Contenders for the title include Cliff Ritchie, Clark Grabner, who holds 9 U.S. national titles, Sandy Mayer, and John Whittingler, both former NCAA stars and 3 visiting international pros. The matches will be held this afternoon through February 7th and are officiated by the U.S. Tennis Association. If you want to see the televised edition, watch WTVJ Channel 4 in Miami, the CBS affiliate in South Florida, with announcers Pat Summerall and Tony Trebar. Now with the weather, here's Sharon.
Well, thank you, Alan. The weather didn't look too good yesterday. Most of the western states are enjoying fair weather under the influence of two high-pressure systems located over the central and southern Rockies. East of these systems, most of the Midwest is experiencing freezing temperatures. Extremely cold weather is present in the Great Lakes region and south due to a cold front extending from North Dakota across through Illinois. Snow is blanketing eastern Michigan to western New York and in the Ohio Valley. Drivers' warnings are up for heavy snow in New England. Lowest temperature nationally was 7 below in Fargo, North Dakota. Highest reported in Los Angeles, a temperature of 83. A low pressure area over Georgia is causing high winds and rain over most of the east and is expected to move off the coast tonight. Cool weather is anticipated for the entire Florida peninsula following this frontal movement. Yesterday afternoon, a tornado watch was issued for all of Palm Beach County, while heavy winds and torrential rains battered the southeast Florida coast. Florida Power and Light reported numerous blackouts throughout central and southern Florida. A twister was reported just north of Homestead, and a tornado touched down in Marion County near Orange Lake. Temperatures now for the current temperatures in Florida report 66 in Tallahassee, 65 in Tampa, 75 in West Palm Beach, 78 in Miami, and 77 in Key West. And now for the current information. The forecast is partly cloudy and cool. High today of 50, low tonight, high today of 70, low tonight of 50. The temperature now is 62. Barometer is 30.16 inches and rising. Humidity 75%. Winds northerly at 15 miles per hour. And for the boating forecast, 15 to 20 knots on the seas. High tide at Hillsborough Inlet is 10:39 p.m. Low tide at Hillsborough, 4:54 p.m. Also, small craft warnings are in effect. Alan, that's the weather picture for today.
Well, it doesn't sound like it's going to be too of a very good day. Think it's a good day to stay inside or just watch television or something. Well, anyway, here's Scott Pallack now, critic at large.
Thank you very much, Alan. As disasters go, the burning of the Hindenburg was minor and overrated. Most of the victims survived. The disaster was showy and ostentatious, but nothing compared to the sinking of the Titanic, for example. The film The Hindenburg shares the same flaws. George C. Scott stars as the Nazi security officer assigned to prevent any mishaps from occurring on the great airship's first voyage of the year. He plays his part well. Could he play anything poorly? But he is trapped in a mediocre vehicle from which there is no escape. It is unfortunate that such a fine actor should be cast in such a poor script. Anne Bancroft's talents are wasted, as she plays an opium-smoking German countess whose lands have been confiscated by the Nazis for a military project. Although she co-stars and appears throughout the movie, her part is totally irrelevant to the plot. It is truly a pity to see her in this role. Films about great disasters have one thing in common. In order for them to work, they must invoke the empathy of the audience towards the characters. The only character this critic cared about was a large black dog who fortunately was one of the survivors. The writers left too many loose ends. Characters were given various sinister motives, appeared in a few scenes, and then disappeared from the film. Robert Cleary, Corporal LeBeau of Hogan's Heroes, plays a circus performer whom George C. Scott suspects of sabotage. We never learn his motives. Admittedly, these loose ends may have been the result of abysmal post-production cutting, but having not seen the script, I cannot render judgment on that theory. That is not to say there were no good moments in the flick. One particularly hair-raising scene was an in-flight repair of the ship's outer skin. I was on the edge of my seat until its conclusion. The ending was a disaster, both literally and figuratively. Injudicious use of stop action, along with poorly edited stock footage and new film, totally destroyed whatever tension had been built. A continuous flow would have been much more effective. Here are some scenes from the Hindenburg.
We will all go together when we go, all suffused with an incandescent glow. No one will have the endurance to collect on his insurance. Lloyd's of London will be loaded when they go.
The first in the plane. Get it started. It's right, and it's crashing terrible. Oh my, get out of the way, please. It's burning, bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring mast, and all the folks between the ship is terrible. This is the worst of the worst catastrophe in the world. Oh, it's running, 400 or 500 feet into the sky. And it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the frame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast.
We will all bake together when we bake. There'll be nobody present at the wake. With complete participation in that grand incineration, nearly 3 billion hunks of well-done steak. Oh, we will all charge.
Flames now, and the frame is...
And let there be no moaning of the bar. Just sing out a Te-Deum when you see that ICBM, and the party will become as you are.
In summary, if you have nothing better to do some Sunday afternoon, no good movies are playing, and you can get into the theater free, go see the Hindenburg. After all, what's a few wasted hours? I would rate the Hindenburg fair. Critics' choice is Al Pacino's superlative performance as an erotic homosexual bank robber holding 8 hostages at gunpoint. Dog Day Afternoon is a fantastic experience, one which should not be missed under any circumstance. Al Pacino has done it again. Dog Day Afternoon, excellent. In almost any year, Dog Day Afternoon would sweep the Oscars. It is truly a great picture. However, not this year. We are fortunate indeed to have been treated to what will surely be acclaimed as one of the greatest films of all time. There are no adjectives in the English language to describe this work of art. I am referring, of course, to Jack Nicholson's superb performance in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Jack Nicholson plays a convict convicted of statutory rape with a 16-year-old girl, transferred to a mental institution because he refused to work at prison. He brings life and sanity into the sterile atmosphere of the asylum. You must see this film, as it cannot be described through words alone. I give One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest 10 stars on a 1 to 4 scale.